everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to discuss one of the most important poems for UGC NET English literature. The poem is Hunger, written by Jayanta Mahapatra in 1976. This poem is taken from his collection A Rhyme of Rights, and it is a very powerful poem dealing with poverty, sexuality, guilt, and spiritual emptinesses. For UGC NET aspirants, this poem is very important under post independence Indian English poetry. Let us begin with the background of the poet. Jayant Mahapatra was born in Odisha and he is one of the most significant voices in Indian English poetry. He became the first Indian English poet to receive the Sahitya Akademi Award in 1981. His poetry mainly focuses on regional realism, poverty, sexuality, moral guilt, and spiritual crisis. He often sets his poem in Odisha, especially near Konark. Now, let us understand the background of the poem. The background of the poem. The poem Hunger was published in 1976. It is set near Konark beach in Odisha. The poem is written in the first person narration, where the speaker meets a poor fisherman who offers his daughter for money because of hunger. The background reflects post independence India, so where the poverty and economic inequality were widespread. So now let us move to the summary. The summary of the poem. In the poem, the speaker meets an old fisherman near the sea. Due to extreme poverty and hunger, the fisherman offers his younger daughter to the speaker in exchange for the money. The speaker accepts the offer and spends the night with the girl. But the poem does not end with a pleasure. Instead, it ends with deep guilt, emotional emptinesses, and psychological discomfort. So, this shows that hunger is not just a physical hunger in this poem. This poem not only shows a single meaning of the hunger word, it shows different types of hunger in this poem, such as physical hunger means poverty, and sexual hunger means desire, emotional hunger, and spiritual hunger. As the title hunger has a multiple meanings, as I before said, the first one is there is a physical hunger where the fisherman is starving and needs money. The second is sexual hunger where the speaker is desire, and the third one is there is an emotional hunger, so where the lack of love and human connections were shown. And finally, the spiritual hunger, and there the moral emptinesses and love of values are shown. This multiple layered meaning makes the poem very powerful and impactful. Let's see the major themes. The poem highlights poverty and exploitation in rural India, and it also shows a sexual guilt. After the act, the speaker feels ashamed and disturbed. There is a moral crisis where the speaker questions himself. The presence of Konark temple symbolizes the Indian glorious past, but the present shows moral decay. This contrast is very important for users in it. Symbolisms. The sea in the poem represent endless desire and the unconscious mind. The hunger symbolizes not just a food but a deep human desires. As well as the Konark temple symbolizes a loss of spiritual heritage. and the fisherman represent the poor India, and even the girl represent innocence destroyed by the economic conditions. These are some of the major symbolisms were used in the poem The Hunger, and these symbolisms is frequently asked in UGC NET exams. From a feminist perspective, the poem shows how the female body becomes a commodity. Wait, the girl has no voice. She is just controlled by her own father, and she becomes a victim of both patriarchy and poverty. This feminist angle is very important for a critical analysis. Psychologically, the speaker experiences deep guilt and shame. He realizes that physical desire does not bring satisfaction. Instead, it creates emptinesses. This reflects existential crisis that a common theme in post-independence literature. For UGC NET, remember that Jayant Mahapatra is known for regional realism and psychological depth. His poetry reflects post-independence crisis and moral decay. You can compare this poem with Kamala Das when discussing sexuality and guilt. Always remember the multi-layered meaning of hunger. To conclude, hunger is not simply about the poverty. It is about human weaknesses, exploitation, moral decay, and the spiritual emptinesses. That is why this poem remains one of the most important works in Indian English poetry and a must read for UGC NET aspirants. So, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more UGC NET English literature contents.